Welcome everyone. Today's topic is the ultimate rehabbing workshop. I'm super excited about this topic. In fact, this is the first time we created this topic. So let's dive into it. I brought a lot of information. If you have any questions, please post them through the chat while we go into the presentation. So this is what we're going to talk about. What I'm just going to show you in the next slide is gold, okay? How to calculate the cost of repairs of any type of transaction. So make sure that you write these down, take a picture. Still, we're gonna send you the replay tomorrow, first thing in the morning, but I wanna make sure that you super pay a lot of attention to these. When you get into real estate, you have three options, right? Buy and hold, fix and flip, or wholesale. So if you're gonna buy and hold or fix and flip, you need to understand these like the back of your hand. So when you look at a property, there's only three categories, okay? It's either a light rehab, which is only carpet and paint. The second one is average, where you're gonna do paint, carpet, kitchen, and baths, but these are upgrades, okay? For the kitchen and bathroom, it's sort of like an upgrade. And then the heavy one, it's like a god rehab, where you're doing everything brand new, from flooring, HVAC, plumbing, electric, windows, roof, light fixtures, the entire thing. So what I'm about to show you is the fastest way to come up with the rehab estimate for any property, okay? All you need to know is the condition, okay? And I'm gonna give you some examples, but this has worked for us incredibly well. So make sure the next slide you take a picture of, okay? So we're gonna start by the light rehab. So it's driven by the square footage of the property. Any property that you are going to open up, even if it's a light rehab, just paint or very cosmetic work out of the box, at least 10,000 for a property that is under 1,500. Between 1,500 to 2,500, 15,000, and then over 2,500 and less than 3,500 is going to be 25,000. Okay, this has worked incredibly well. Now, let's move on to the average. Okay, the average, at least $25,000, friends. Okay, when you're gonna do carpet, paint, update the bathroom, and update the kitchen, at least $25,000 under 1,500 square feet. Now, if the property is a little bit bigger, 35,000, and then over 2,500 square feet, it's 45,000. So these are the type of properties that we're focusing on, and I highly suggest you focus on light and average. Ideally, you pick a light, right? But it's not up to you. It's obviously whatever deal you pick at the best price, you need to make sure that you only take on light or average rehabs. The next one is the heavy, right? The gold rehab. You want to stay away from these projects, okay? Because they become nightmares if you don't have a construction background or if you don't have a great group of team working for you. So even that we have experience in rehabbing, over 30 rehabs, we're not taking any gold rehabs. We've done only 2 or 3, but that's pretty much to the extent, and that's enough. I mean, you're going to be dealing with all kinds of inspectors. You need to pull permits for pretty much everything, like windows, electric, plumbing, roof, HVAC. So you're just opening up a can of worms. And guess what? The money in real estate is not in rehabbing. In fact, the bigger the rehab, the higher the risk, and you're exposing yourself to make a lot less money. So you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it light or average. So again, ideally, you focus on light rehabs or average. That's about it. So I'm going to give you some examples of some properties we've done where it was light and average. Now, something to keep in mind. We stay away from properties that are over 2,000 square feet. And the reason why is because of the scope of work, the rehab amount. So we want to keep it below 40,000. That's it. We don't want to do rehabs over 40,000 because The minute you start doing rehabs over 40,000, guess what? It's going to take you a lot longer. So if you stay within the light, the first two columns, 10,000 to 15,000, an average between 25 to 35,000, that's going to maximize your profit and minimize your risk. That is the sweet spot. So try to stay, again, within the light in the first and second column, and the same for the average, up to 35,000. Usually I have a cushion, so up to 40,000. Anything that goes over 40,000, it's not ideal. Okay, it could happen, but you should set your max to either 40, max tops 45,000. That's just pushing it. Assuming something went unexpected, 45,000. Okay, that's when you're going to maximize your return. Not only that, but the amount of time that is going to take you for the rehab, if you stay within 40,000, okay, is going to be between 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, 6 to 8 weeks, having 2 to 3 people working on the project. Okay, you cannot have one person doing the entire project. Impossible. Okay, you have to be working with at least 2 to 3 people to get this done within 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so that is a sweet spot. Absolutely heavy go rehabs, your risk is exponentially high. Okay, and your return is jeopardized. So try to stay away from heavy rehabs. So please make sure that you make a note of these. So when you go out and look at a property, you only need to know 2 things to be able to come up with the rehab estimate in seconds. So the first thing that you need to know, what's the square footage of the property? Okay, hopefully you are looking at properties under 2,000 square feet. Okay, we like to stay below 1,800. And then you look at, do I need to do kitchens and baths? If the answer is yes, boom, right away you're into the average. Okay, so in a matter of seconds, you're able to come up with a very accurate rehab estimate. So again, you enter the property. Okay, the first thing that you want to know, what's the square footage? Or even before you enter the property, you can be looking at pictures of the property. You need to know the square footage, super important. And be aware that sometimes in any website, including MLS, any website, square footage might be incorrect. Okay, but just have a rough idea that a 3-bedroom, 2-bath is going to be about 1,700 square feet. A 2-bedroom, 1-bath, it could be about 1,100 square feet. So that's just like the rule of thumb. So again, once you know the square footage, the next question is, do I need to upgrade the bathroom? Do I need to upgrade the kitchen? If the answer is yes, boom, you're into the average. And then if it's less than 1,500 square feet, you're going to be spending no less than 25,000. If it's over 1,500, but yet below 2,500, you're looking at 35,000. Now, something that has worked really well for us is when coming up with the rehab estimate is to have a cushion. You always have to have a cushion between 5 to 10,000. So this is the rule of thumb, friends. If we're looking at a rehab of light, okay, we're gonna add a 5,000 cushion. So looking at this chart, if I know the property is less than 1,500 square feet, right away I know the rehab is gonna be about 10,000, but I'm going to add a $5,000 cushion for any unexpected. It could be electric, plumbing, HVAC, windows, roof, anything, right? So at least out of the box, when you open up a property, is going to cost you, even if it's very light, even if it looks beautiful from the inside, is going to be at least 10 to 15,000. That's it, no questions about it. And then if the property obviously needs updated bathrooms and kitchens, boom, you're going to the average. So you're looking at 25 to 35,000 if the property is under 2,500 square feet. So for these, I would also add a $10,000 cushion. So where do you add this cushion? When you create your scope of work, in fact, we're going to give you the itemized spreadsheet that we use to come up with a very accurate scope of work. Phil, by the way, can you pull that up? Not right now, towards the end of the webinar, okay? When I tell you, if you can send it to me via the private chat, that'll be great. So again, when you create the scope of work, you need to add a $10,000 cushion for unexpected. And this is what you're gonna present to your lender, hard money lender, private money lender, okay? So even though you know you're gonna stay within 25 to 35,000, guess what? There might be something that you did not see while walking the property, okay? Or maybe it came from the inspection. So you always have to have a cushion on top of these numbers, okay? That is just to be safe, because sometimes you can get lucky and it's even less than this, but oftentimes there's always something that comes up. It could be on the outside, it could be on the inside, it could be in the attic, in the foundation, 1,000 places. Always, please have a cushion. So again, if you're in the light rehab, at a 5,000 cushion. If you're in the average or medium rehab, add a 10,000. That's it. So that rule of thumb has worked incredibly well. So even if you fail to account for something, guess what? That's what the cushion is for. Let's say you were not able to see the electrical panel, or you don't know anything about electricity or plumbing. You were not able to see the piping behind. You are going to tap into that cushion. That's what that is for, okay? Super, super important to have that. Please, this is the most important slide that you will ever come across, okay? Make sure that you take a picture, you memorize, and ideally, again, I'm gonna just quickly summarize, stay below 2,000 square feet on any property. So that's gonna be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that's it. And ideally, no basement, okay? Because basements are trouble when it rains. If there are backup sewage from the village, from the street, or the sump pump not working, guess what? Flooded basement is going to damage washer, dryer, water heater, furnace, and anything that you have in there. So just to repair that is going to be quite expensive. It could go from 5 up to 10,000. So ideally, no basements. So you want a very simple, boring house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or it could be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, ideally no basement, okay? But again, super important to stay below 2,000 square feet and ask yourself, once you know the square footage, do I need to update the kitchen and the bathroom? If so, you're not in the light rehab. You are in the average or medium, and you're looking at 25 to 35,000 right off the box, plus you need to add your 10,000 cushion. That's it. If you don't use the cushion, good for you. But if you need to use it, it's there. Super important, friends. Okay. Perfect. So next, let me show you some examples of light. So this is an example of a property that it was just a light rehab. So what it means is, remember the definition of light. You only do carpet and paint, or flooring and paint. So in this case, you're not putting a brand new floor. If this is hardwood floors, you are resanding and varnishing, polishing the floor. That's about it. So these are the pictures of a light where the bathrooms are already done and the kitchen is already done. So this is after. In this example, all we did was paint. We didn't do anything to the flooring. We didn't do anything to the kitchen except for the appliances, okay? The granite countertop, everything was there. So we just painted all the kitchen cabinets and clean up. That's about it. So nothing else. Paint again, that's it. We cleaned the flooring. We didn't do the lighting either. In here, we did the vanity mirror and the lighting. That's it. Just one light fixture in here for the mirror. So very, very simple, very light. And in this case, the rehab amount in this property, this is a 1,700 square feet in Cicero. It was 13,000. Okay, and that's just super light. So we're just coming in, doing the cleanup, paint, and then fixing minor issues like plumbing, electric, missing mirrors, lamps. That's about it. No, oh, and there was a leak in the roof. So very simple rehab. That's what you want to do, because guess what? You're going to be able to do this type of rehab in about 3 to 4 weeks. Very simple. In and out. So you're going to be in and out. And that's where the money is in real estate, where you complete the rehab as quick as possible so that you put it back on the market, either to sell it for a flip or to rent it for a buy and hold. Okay, so this is the ideal rehab, where you find the property in great condition and all you need to do is paint and few minor touches, okay, on the flooring. So you are, again, I want to emphasize, we are not updating the bathrooms. The way you see the pictures, that's how we found the property. You are not updating the kitchen. So I'm going to show you, we did not put new cabinets. We didn't put any countertops. We didn't do any faucets, none of that. All we did was painted the cabinets and put new appliances. Okay, super, super important for you to understand, because the minute, if we needed to update the bathrooms, meaning put new vanity, put new tub, tile, and so forth, it's not a light rehab. Then it goes to the medium or average rehab, and then the price is going to shoot up from 13,000 all the way to 24, or up to 35,000 when you start touching bathrooms and kitchens. Super important for you to understand. Now, I'm going to show you an average rehab. Okay, this property in Mount Prospect, you may not hear the sound, but I want you to see the property. So it's running right now. It's a video.
Cut the grass or get a credit for it. It's pretty long. It's been raining a lot here. You're not aware of that. So, well, you probably are.
So the lawn is pretty long. And then we're just walking the property from the outside. The brick is in great condition. Phil, are you able to hear the sound on the video or not quite? Because then I can speak up.
Here's the backyard.
We can't hear it well, Hugo.
You can? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So in here, we're just walking the property from the outside, looking at the brick, looking at the roof. The roof, there was a leak in the roof, but overall, the outside looks in pretty good shape. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the property. So in here, the first question is, what's the square footage on the property? The square footage on this property is 1,600 square feet. Okay, so the next question is, do you need to upgrade the bathrooms? Do you need to upgrade the kitchen? In this case, the answer is yes. Therefore, it's not a light to medium. When you see this property from the video, it's going to look really good for you. But guess what? If you need to do kitchens and bathrooms, it goes into the average. Look at that. It looks really awesome. You might think, oh, I just need to do painting, right? It's in pretty good shape. Look. So we're just walking. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You see, to you, this could be cosmetic work. The ceilings look okay. Okay. But look at the bathroom. You see the tile? That bathroom needs to be updated. Now you're going to look at the kitchen. You see the kitchen? It looks dated from the appliances, the kitchen cabinets. Okay. So 2 things. I know right away, in seconds, we need to do the bathroom and the kitchen. That is why the rehab on this is going to be over 25,000, okay? Since it's less than 2,500 square feet, this is, my estimation was about 30,000. But when we did the bathrooms and kitchens, it came out to be $34,000, the rehab on this property. And as you can see, look at the basement. It's already finished. The flooring, the paint. To many investors, this may look like a light rehab, but it's not, because we need to touch bathrooms and kitchens. Look at the mechanicals. The furnace and the water heater are in very good condition, okay? But it doesn't matter. We are touching bathrooms and kitchens. We're looking for any water damages in the basement. There are none, which is a good sign. because we don't want to deal with cracks in the foundation. That's just a bigger expense. So we're gonna go back up, and then you're gonna see the kitchen. So that's the second bathroom. That's the fourth bedroom in the basement. Okay, so the good thing is that the basement is dry. So look at the bathroom here. So we're gonna change the vanity. So it's very cosmetic work in this bathroom, but still, we need to touch primarily the first bathroom. This second bathroom is gonna be very light rehab. We just do the vanity and that's it. Now we're gonna go up, and then I want you to take a look at the kitchen. That's where the video ends. Okay, so right here, we're gonna make a left, and then look at the kitchen cabinets. You see the kitchen cabinets? Very, very dated. Look at that, very dated. Look at the appliances, okay? So those kitchen cabinets are obsolete. You see, they're old. Look at the countertop, it's wood. So since we need to update the kitchen, boom, the rehab estimate goes super high. So this is a question for everyone on the chat. So if the square footage, let's assume, is 1,800, and we need to update the bathroom on the first floor and the kitchen, what's gonna be my rehab amount? Think about the cushion that I told you. So right away, you are not in the light, you are in the medium or average. So on the chat, I want you to tell me in seconds, what's gonna be the rehab? Very fast, friends. Remember, less than 2,500 square feet, you are in the second column of the average. Think about the cushion of 10,000. So what's gonna be? Calvin, 45, great job. Thank you, Calvin. So indeed, this ended up being very good clearance. You guys are killing it. Awesome, 45,000. So if I was to do the scope of work with the bank on this one, we needed to account for at least 45,000, adding a 10,000 cushion. So in this case, it ended up being $34,000 because we did not have any unexpected items. The property, as you saw, was in pretty good condition. So the spreadsheet, I mean, the table that I showed you was right on target. We did not need to use the $10,000 cushion. So it ended up being 34,000, which is right on the spot. Based on that chart, it said 35,000. It ended up being 34,000, but it's also an incredible great idea to have that 10,000 cushion. So if somebody was to ask you, how much do we need to do for the rehab? How much is that going to cost? You need to say 45,000, okay? Because you're going to look good. You don't want to be over budget, okay? When you create your scope of work, never over budget. You always want to be on budget or under budget, okay? So you're gonna look like a pro. I wanna make sure that you always look like a pro, even though you may not have a lot of rehabs under your belt. With the chart that I gave you, you're gonna always look and sound like a pro. That is the entire objective. So it's gonna take you seconds to come up with the rehab. I mean, the two numbers that you guys gave me, Calvin and Clarence, for somebody to come up with that number, they need to have a lot of experience. But all you need is the chart that I gave you. Okay, so now let's look at the after rehab. So this picture, we did the kitchen, so brand new kitchen. That's what I was telling you. A brand new kitchen is going to run close to 10,000. Okay, the bathroom is going to be at least 4,000 to 5,000. So right off the bat, 15,000. And the rest is on fixing the floor. So the floor was hardwood floors, so we sanded and varnished the floor, okay? And then paint. So now something that I want you to keep in mind, because we're gonna talk about this in the presentation, is the paint on the wall to the left in the living room. That is called a feature wall, okay? You see that it's dark gray and the rest of the house is light gray. That wall is called the feature wall, and it's a new trend in rehabbing. So you always want to have one wall painted a darker color, and usually that wall happens to be in the living room. Only one wall. Pick the one you want, okay? People love that, okay? So now this is just a close-up of the kitchen. So new cabinets. The cabinets were like 2,600 because it's a small kitchen. and then appliances, new quartz countertop. So the whole kitchen was about 7,000 because it's a small kitchen, okay? But we put better appliances, quartz for the island, and then we also knock off the walls, okay? Knocking off the walls on the left, so you're gonna see these. Remember that used to be like an enclosed kitchen or room, so we knock off the wall where the island is sitting, and then on the side to the left, that had a wall. So you wanna have open space. But again, it's just getting rid of a wall is not a big deal, so long it's not a bearing wall, okay? So it's super important. You cannot just, boom, knock off a wall out of the blue, okay? You really need to talk to somebody who understands bearing walls. It could be your contractor, a GC, or an architect, okay? Because they're gonna confirm that this is not a bearing wall, because if you knock off a bearing wall, it's a huge risk because the roof can fall off. Okay, super important. As you can see, we knock off not 100% all the way to the ceiling. So we left, because this was a bearing wall. So we left the entire beam, the structure, and we had to have an architect just do the drawing for the village to get the permit. So the expense on knocking those two walls was about, between the drawing and the labor, was about 15 to 1700, but it was totally worth it because you make it open space. That's what people like, open space. They don't like rooms, going from one room to another room. That's not what people like. You want to have open space. For one, it's a new trend. For two, it makes the place look bigger, more spacious. People like space. So if you foresee the opportunity to knock off walls, do it 100%. Sometimes I've seen arches between one room to another one. If we can knock off the entire thing, by all means, go for it, okay? Even if it's just 1 or 2 foot on each side, go for it. It's gonna look bigger, people are gonna like it, and it is super inexpensive. This wall, knocking those 2 walls, was a little bit more expensive because we needed to move the electric, okay? So that required a little bit more work, but it was about 1,700, totally worth it. There's a question, the 10,000 including appliances? Yes, absolutely. 4 appliances is gonna be about $3,500. You're talking about a dishwasher, stove, and a fridge, okay? 3 appliances right off the bat, about 3,500. Okay, stainless steel appliances. You always need to put new appliances, stainless steel, whether it's a rental or a flip. It's just gonna command higher rental amount, or it's gonna sell quicker on a flip. Don't go with white or black. No, that's in the past, that's obsolete. Always stainless steel. Plus, there's a very little difference in price when you go between color and stainless steel. Always stainless steel. Great question, Calvin. And then the bathroom. So the bathroom, you always need to do the vanity, lighting, the mirror, and then this is the new trend on tile. The tile that looks like marble, and also now the new trend is showers. Don't ask me why. People now love showers, and guess what? It's cheaper to do a shower than it is to do the bathtub. I don't know, but people love showers. And then it's a big advantage because sometimes older people move into the property and they have a hard time jumping over the bathtub. So it's always a great idea to have showers, okay? So this type of tile is new trend with, the black tile in the middle, like a stripe, people love that. Shower doors, they're not necessary, they're expensive. This shower door is about 700. You don't need to do the shower door, okay? If you do the shower door, it's for a flip. Most people are gonna put a rod and a curtain, okay? But again, this property is in Mount Prospect. It's an A area, so we wanna do all these small details that are gonna help us command top rents, okay? Super important. And then the third category, this is a go rehab, where you need to do absolutely everything from electric, plumbing, framing, drywall, windows, ceiling, paints, light fixtures, roof, basement, exterior. I mean, this is just not where the money is. This is where you can lose a lot of money. You can lose not only money, you can lose your hair, you can get white hair. I mean, it's like a big disaster. You're asking for trouble if you take on these type of projects. Unless, friends, you have a construction background or a construction company, please do not take these type of projects, because there's going to be not only one kind of worms, there's going to be 100 kinds of worms on the flooring, HVAC, electric, plumbing. Not only that, but let me tell you, when you take on these type of projects, let's say for plumbing, let's talk about plumbing. You're going to need to do what's called rough plumbing, okay? And you're going to have an inspection for the rough plumbing. So the rough plumbing is like the pipes, the bigger pipes coming from the street onto the bathroom, the kitchen, okay? That is just one project within plumbing. And the second one is the finished plumbing, okay? Where you do the faucets, you connect the vanities, the sinks, and so forth. So you're going to have 2 inspections just for plumbing, and the same applies for electric. So you're going to have what they call rough electric, okay, where they do the service, okay, they install the service panel, and then they're going to go check that. You're going to have the village inspector go check the rough electric before you can continue with the project, okay? And then HVAC, you're going to need to do, in these type of projects, you might need to do not only the furnace or the water heater, but you might need to do duct work, okay? So you might need to run the whole duct work throughout. That is quite expensive. That can run you $10,000, $12,000 just for a new HVAC system. You need to do the line outside for the condenser or the AC. So it's just so many kind of worms that you're going to be opening. You're going to be dealing with every single type of trade: plumbing, electric, roof, windows, carpenters, drywall. So it's a very complicated, and believe me, this type of project is not going to take you 6 weeks, 2 months. This is going to take you 3 to 6 months. Okay, so you're going to sit on the project for at least 3 to 6 months, and I'm talking about rehab time, okay? Alone. Imagine you still need to do market time, put it on the market. So you're going to be doing no more than 2 of these type of projects a year. So your growth is going to be so limited. You're not going to be able to do deal after deal after deal if you take on these projects. Not only that, but if something goes wrong with this, oh my goodness, you can lose your shirt. Not only that, but the village, when you do this type of work, I mean, they're going to be on you like big time. Something now, talking about village, it is super important that when you're going to take on any type of project, it could be light, average, or God, that you pull permits. Okay, that is the first thing that you need to do once you close on the property. And we're going to be talking about the timeline of the rehab next, but I just want to stress this out. You always want to pull permits. You cannot take shortcuts. I'm going to tell you why. Because if for whatever reason you start the rehab and you're doing electric, plumbing, or you're doing demo work without pulling a permit, if the neighbor or the inspector happens to drive by and they see contractor trucks, or they see trash outside or dumpsters, any sign of construction, guess what? They're gonna not only put a stop order on your project, but they're gonna make your life hell. They're gonna send you to court. They're gonna give you tickets, okay? And each ticket, depending on the village, can go as high as, I've seen as high as 750 per violation. So not pulling permits, 750. And guess what? Some villages will give you a fine per permit. So you didn't pull a plumbing permit, 750. You didn't pull an electric permit, 750. Roof, fence, windows. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. It's driven by the village's rules, okay? But once you are on their blacklist, they're gonna make you do a lot more work than what you originally needed to do. So please, you've got to be friends. You've got to do things the right way. There's no shortcuts in pulling permits. That's simple. Because once they put a stop order, guess what? Instead of getting the permit in like 2-3 days or maybe 5 days, it can take up to like 2-3 weeks. And not only that, but when you pull the permits up front, they may not require blueprints, okay? Like architectural drawings. But if you get on their blacklist, guess what? 100% guaranteed, they're gonna make you get blueprints. And guess what? Blueprints are going to be between $1,500 to $2,500. That's it. That's simple. So again, always pull permits. And I'm gonna give you a tip of advice. Even if the inspector doesn't drive by or the neighbor doesn't call the village, guess what? The water department is connected to the building department. So what does that mean? When you buy a property, let's say we bought this property and we're gonna start the work without pulling permits, you're gonna need utilities. You need gas, you need electric, and you need water. When you turn on the gas and the water, you know, you're contacting NICOR, you're contacting ComEd, everything is cool so far. But when you turn on the water, guess what? The water department oftentimes it's connected directly to the building department. So I call in the water department today. Hey, you know, I need water at 123 Main Street. Guess what? The next day you're gonna have an inspector because they're gonna check, oh, 123 Main Street, water is being turned on. What's going on? This has been vacant for maybe 2-3 days. We don't have any permits on file. Let's go check out what's going on at this property. Why do all of a sudden the water is being turned on? And you're gonna have the inspectors the next day. They're gonna put stop orders, fines, they're gonna send you to court. It's a big disaster, okay? Just saying, friends, please don't cut corners, do things the right way. But again, you never want to take on these projects because as you can see, it's a big mess, okay? And we are not in the business of construction. We are in the business of investing. You want to buy a property that requires light to average or medium rehab and go in and out on the work, okay? You want to do as little work as possible in a small property. You don't want to take on like a 2-story, 3-story, or 2-story with basement go rehab. It's going to take you half a year. You will do at the most 2 deals. And if something goes wrong, if you put it on the market, let's say in winter, my goodness, you're lucky if you do 1 deal a year. And if your rehab goes over budget, guess what? You might end up losing money. That is why a lot of people fail in real estate because they think bigger is better. Not in real estate, not in investing. Bigger is bigger headaches, bigger problems, more risk, and guess what? Ultimately, less money. Don't take go rehabs. Take my word, okay? We've done 3, and believe me, it is not fun. So now let's move on. Let's talk about how to hire the perfect contractors, okay? It could be when flipping houses or when renting houses, like meaning buy and hold. So number 1 tip, make sure they do good quality work, okay? Super important, okay? Our first rental, we hired the worst contractor that you can possibly think. Even though he was licensed, I don't know how he got his license. Oh my goodness, everything he touched, he made it worse, okay? So it became more expensive to fix what he had done. Okay, not only that, but then you're going to be getting a lot of calls from the tenant, or if you're going to do a flip, it's even worse. You won't sell your property. So make sure that you have checked or seen their previous work. Okay, and again, you want to have somebody experienced, super important. You don't want somebody who's starting to do your rehabs. So super important to look at their previous work, okay? They may show you pictures, or you can just say, oh, well, can I see one of your previous projects? And it may be vacant, or they may show it to you in pictures. Super important, okay? Quality. This, tip number 2, always hire a team player. Oftentimes, people have to work together, like a plumber, electrician, window repair or window replacement. They all have to work at the same time in the property. They won't step in each other's foot, but they need to know how to work together, okay? And if they're not a team player where they blame each other or they start getting into each other's business, it's a big chaos. So make sure that you hire somebody with team player spirit. Super important that they know how to work with other people. If they only want to work by themselves, they might give you troubles when working in team. Because remember, you're going to need to have 2-3 people at the same time at a given point in your rehab. So super important. Tip number 2. Tip number 3, always over communicate. Okay, you want to know sooner rather than later. Okay, you want to make sure that the project is done on time. If there's something that needs to be done that it's extra, they have to have great communication. You need to be on top of the project. Okay, you don't want to end up finishing up, let's say, the kitchen and something that was not in the scope of work, right? Taken into account, because then rework, it's more time, more money. Over communicate. Okay, next, number 4, always try to work with somebody that it's owner operator. Okay, so what it means is that that's all he does for his family, right? Not somebody that it just gets paid from another contractor. So somebody that owns the business, that if he knows he doesn't do a good work, you will not hire them again. And obviously, if they don't have repeat business, they won't be able to bring money to their house. So make sure that you ideally work with somebody that is owner operator of that construction company. Super important. Okay. This goes along with number 4. Contractors that are owner operators value repeat business. Okay, they want you to call them back for more projects. They don't want to do just a one-off, right? They can give you even better pricing if you give them more and more work. But for that, obviously, you need to check everything that I mentioned earlier and that they're owner operators. Tip number 6, this is super critical. Keep them in timeline, okay? Because remember, longer rehab time frame means more money for you because you have carrying costs, holding expenses. You need to pay mortgage, interest, insurance, taxes, utilities. There's a lot involved, right? So make sure that they stay on time. That is why you always have to have somebody that over communicates, okay? Super important. You want to keep the rehab on time. And obviously that it sticks to the budget, okay? So you want to make sure that you present what your budget is. In this case, we came up with 35,000, right? You always have a cushion, but you say, well, this is the budget for materials. So typically, if the budget is 35,000, half is for material and half is for labor. That's typically the ratio, 50-50, labor and material. So you need to say, I have 17,000 for materials. So you want to make sure that you stay within that. And the same applies for the labor, okay? You need to sign a contract specifying the scope of work with the contractor so they stick to the budget. Okay, now this is like a wish list, okay? Tip number 8. We don't work with contractors who ask for 50% down, okay? Never, never, ever, ever do that. There are certain trades that you do have to pay 50% down. Let me give you an example. If you're gonna do windows, brand new windows, you've gotta give 50% down because with that money, they're gonna buy the windows. There's no contractor that is gonna buy all your windows with 0 money down. Because guess what? You may change your mind and then say, oh, you know, by the way, the deal fell through. No, you're gonna need to pay 50% down. Another example is for countertops, granite, quartz. When you sign the contract, you're gonna need to pay 50% for the material. Another example, if you're doing brand new Hvac, right? They need to buy a lot of materials. So oftentimes they're gonna require some sort of down payment, 20, 30, 40%, that's all negotiable just for materials, okay? But ideally, for general handyman contractors that they're gonna be doing mostly labor intensive projects, you don't need to pay in advance for materials. Super, super important because they can just walk away and do nothing, right? Next, let's create a rehab timeline. Okay, super important. Number one, if something could be getting done, it needs to be done right now. So this timeline is super, super important. Okay, we're gonna talk about the points of making sure your rehab is done on time. So this is what you need to do. On the day of closing, I wanna make sure that you have the scope of work already done, okay, and the crews ready to go. I'm talking about, you're gonna start with demo work, okay? So you need to have your dumpster already lined up, who you're gonna call, who's gonna do the demo work. So the crew needs to be ready, the scope of work is already done, and then we're gonna show you the timeline for what you need to think of in this sequence that makes sense, okay? And always you need to be thinking ahead when you're doing your timeline of the rehab. So you need to be 2 to 3 weeks out, okay? So you need to have milestone. Milestone number one, week number one, this is what needs to be done. Week number two, week number three, this is gonna guarantee that you don't go over budget, that you don't go over the timeline set for the rehab, and that you make the contractor accountable for the timeline. Super important. So let's take a look at the timeline, okay? So when you close the property, you already have the scope of work. You're gonna start, as I said earlier, demo, okay? So everything that needs to be demo, like the bathroom, the kitchen, like the property that I showed you earlier, you need to get rid of everything that is in the bathroom, in the kitchen, and sometimes properties have personal property, personal belongings, all that needs to be thrown away, okay? So my experience is that it's cheaper to get a dumpster, okay, and put it outside. Sometimes some villages will require a permit for a dumpster, especially if you're gonna put it on the street, okay? You do need a permit for that. There's another type of company that they bring a truck, they come in, they bring 2, 3 people, and boom, they empty the truck. They're gonna be a little bit more expensive, so it's best to get your own dumpster, and then your contractors can just dump the trash in the dumpster. They're gonna charge you 100, 150 for the labor, but it's gonna end up being cheaper than if you get a truck with people to come in and then take out trash. Because guess what? Throughout the project, you're gonna have a lot of debris, so you wanna have a place to dump it. So you cannot put it in the regular recycle bins. You need to have a dumpster, super important. The dumpster is about 400, depending on how long you keep it for. Next, so we're gonna go into the details. Get a new tub and shower valve, electrician and plumber. So you're gonna do the rough. Remember that we talked about the rough plumbing. So hopefully you don't need to do much rough plumbing, because guess what? Rough plumbing is expensive. Not the finish or electric or plumbing, no, the rough plumbing, because there you're talking about bigger pipes running from like the bathroom all the way to the main line or towards the street. So you wanna do the rough first. And remember, if you need to do rough plumbing or electric, you're gonna have an inspection just for that. When that is done, you're gonna have the village come out and inspect that before you can continue the project, before you can do the finish of the bathroom. They need to check the rough plumbing or the rough electric. Super important, okay, that needs to be done. Next, set the tub and shower valve, okay, drywall, you're gonna need to do drywall. So all the framing, insulation, that is next in the list. After you've done all the framing, the wall, then you start with the flooring. It's either hardwood floor, tile, whatever flooring you're gonna do. Wood floor, granite, the sink. So now the new trend is quartz, but quartz is super expensive. Could be twice as much as granite. Not only that, but granite in quartz, it's very sensitive to hot. So if you put really hot items on quartz, it's gonna stain it. So you can get away with granite. There are some granites that look like quartz, That's just a tip of advice. Then cabinets, right? You're gonna do the cabinets either in the kitchen, the bathroom, or both if you're doing an upgrade of those. And then electrician, you're gonna do all the light fixtures. Super important, lighting is critical and lights are inexpensive. Sometimes what we've done is we remove or we add can lights. You're gonna pay between 60 to 75 per can light, but it adds a lot of value to the property. So lighting, super important, okay? Paint goes towards the end, and then finally you do the finish plumbing and the finish electric, okay? Once you've done the drywall, the flooring, the paint, towards the end you do the finish electric and plumbing, okay? So that is the basic timeline for your projects, okay? So you can divide them or split them depending on how big the project is by milestones, but this is pretty much the sequence, okay? So listen, you cannot do painting first, right? Or you cannot do flooring before you do the rough plumbing or electric. So this sequence is super important, okay? And this could be for flipping or for buy and hold properties, okay? This applies for both. Super important, okay? Next. Now, these are 5 home renovations tips that are going to increase your property value. So super important. But before we move on to this topic, are there any questions on the timeline? So this is the sequence. Make sure that you fully understand that, because your milestones for the project will need to have this sequence, okay? You cannot do one before the other one or vice versa, okay? That is the sequence that you need to do your rehab, okay? And based on that, all you need to do is create milestones per week, okay? Everything is driven by week, okay? And remember, over communicate, because some of these milestones can take longer. Like for instance, you cannot continue with the bathroom or the drywall until you pass the rough plumbing and electric in the bathroom, for instance, or in the kitchen. So you cannot move forward. So super important to have these done ASAP so that it doesn't get the project late, okay? Now, best way to find contractors, great question. So we're gonna share our contractors in ChicagoDealVault. We have a list of all our contractors, okay? From plumbers, electricians, because those people are very reliable. They work with us for many projects, so super important to get somebody reliable. There's another source to find rehabbers. It's called, oh, I went blank. It's an app where you post the project and then you have contractors coming to you. I'll get back to you. Thank you, Calvin. Great question. So I'll get to you on that app. Okay, so next, 5 renovation projects that are gonna add a lot of value to your property. Number 1, kitchen. That's where your money should go when you're updating the property, especially kitchens. Remember the kitchen that I showed you? We did sort of like the bells and whistles, we did the island, open space, stainless steel appliances, backsplash is super important, new cabinets and quartz, okay? Again, stainless steel, quartz, backsplash, island, open space, that's what you need to do, okay? Super, super important. Is going to add about 20 to 25,000 in value to your property. And guess what? Your cost is not going to be over $10,000 to $12,000 for a brand new kitchen. So you're gonna double your money when you put it into kitchens. Super important. And then let me tell you this tip of advice. When somebody's gonna rent or buy a property, guess who the decision maker is? You think men are? Well, you're 100% wrong. Women are. Even though the property might be on the husband's name, guess what? The decision maker, for the most part, are women. And guess what women love? They love kitchens, okay? They love to cook, most of them. So you've got to make it beautiful, open space, because that's what's going to get you top dollars, okay? For rent or for a flip, number 1. Number 2, Okay, bathrooms. Okay, it might be common sense, but bathrooms is the second best place where you need to put in your money. Okay, here we say double sinks. It's important. Always go with light colors because light colors make the place look more spacious. And then the new trend for colors is gray, light gray. And remember the feature wall in the living room. The third place, flooring, super important. Please make sure that you pick a light color, okay? New trends, sometimes I've seen really dark espresso colors, but people, the new trend is towards lighter colors. And not only that, but for instance, Home Depot, they have an incredible flooring. It's engineered hardwood floor that is waterproof, lifetime warranty, and it is very inexpensive. It's like the new trend. It sort of looks like wood. It's gray, white, grayish, but it's just beautiful, very inexpensive, extremely durable. Okay, so you can put that in kitchens. I mean, you can put that throughout. And in fact, I think we have that flooring in the kitchen that I show you in the picture below. So it is just the best flooring we found for the price, for the quality. I mean, spills, you can clean it with water. It's just incredible and it looks really nice. Okay, so flooring is the third place where you need to put in your money. So always look for waterproof, engineer, lifetime warranty. Okay, flooring. Fourth, feature wall. Believe it or not, people love these. So always paint one of the walls in the living room primarily a different color, a darker color from the rest of the house. It is super, super important. Okay, 5, curb appeal. Many people, many investors disregard these. They focus only on the inside of the property. But guess what? What sells the property is the minute you pull up a property, if you see high, tall grass, if you see the mailbox really old, if you see the outside like broken bricks, not painted handrails, it just gives you a bad impression. It's not going to get you the top dollars. So please make sure that always the outside it's immaculate. Paint the handrails, the flooring, landscaping, super important for curb appeal. This is one of the biggest mistakes investors make. They forget the curb appeal, the outside. When you pull up to the property, you need to say, whoa, I love this property, even before going inside the property. It's how powerful this is, the curb appeal. Just think about this. When you meet somebody of the opposite sex, it's like side of first love, right? Or love at first sight. When you see somebody, there's gonna be some physical attraction, right? If the other person is wearing like a pajama, the hair is like, you know, going all sides, then there's nothing there of attraction, right? It's the same thing in real estate. You've got to present the property, the product with curb appeal, sex appeal, call it whatever you want to call it, but please don't forget about the outside. Super important. Okay, super, super important. Lighting. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. There's a question. It says bathroom rehab. I got estimate for 10 to 15,000 for a small bathroom. Whoa, Todd, that's quite a lot. Okay, so let me tell you, bathrooms, we don't pay more than for labor, no more than 4,000, and then for materials is going to be about 15 to 2,000 if you go with, you know, really nice materials. So a bathroom shouldn't take or cost more than 6,000. Okay, that's just pushing it. But typically, labor is going to be 3,000 to 4,000 plus materials is going to be another 2,000 to 3,000. So give and take 6,000 to 7,000 tops for a beautiful bathroom. So the one that I showed you earlier, that costed 6,000. Okay, so everything was got it. Flooring, drywall, shower, vanity, lighting, everything, top to bottom. Okay, so that was $6,000. So if you 11 to 15,000, oh my goodness, No, that's just going to kill your numbers, Todd. It is that simple. It's going to kill your numbers. I mean, think about this. Remember the chart I gave you at the beginning? For a house that it's less than 2,000 square feet, your rehab shouldn't be more than 35,000 if it's average, right? You need to update the kitchen, the bathroom. So imagine if in one bathroom, half of your rehab money goes there. By the time you finish the kitchen and the rest, oh my goodness, you're gonna be at 50, 60,000. So no, that's way too expensive. I'm sure there are contractors or GCs that charge an arm and a leg, but yeah, no, that's gonna kill your numbers. So please don't use them. 11 to 15,000 is just outrageous. It shouldn't be more than 6,000. Super, super important. Okay, Todd, great question. Thank you for bringing that up. So let's go into the next slide. Okay, so we just started from the beginning somehow. Let me just go quickly through this. So this is the feature wall that I was telling you. This bathroom is no more than $6,000. Okay, and this was like a gutted bathroom. Okay, top to bottom. Okay, so let's go into where we left off. So here we were talking about the timeline. Make sure that you have a picture of this timeline, and next the 5 improvements: flooring, feature walls, and curb appeal. Awesome. Okay, friends. So I didn't realize that concluded the webinar. So now we're going to take some questions, and something that is super, super important before I forget. When dealing with contractors, you have to have them sign a Lean Waiver. Once they complete the work, do you need to have them sign a Lean Waiver? Phil, on the chat, can you please share with the audience the Lean Waiver? Awesome. Thank you, Phil. So I'm going to open this up. It's a document that it's a must. Many people forget to do this, but it's critical. Not only Harmony lenders or private money lenders are going to ask you for this. This is just like critical. Okay, once they complete the work, they need to put in all their contact information. They need to put in how much you pay them, and this guarantees that in the future they cannot come back and say, "Oh, by the way, you owe me 2,000 extra, and since you didn't pay me, I'm gonna put a lien on your property." This guarantees that you settle, they did the work, you pay them, and you went on your way, they went your way. Okay, so many Harmony lenders, before they release the escrow money, they're gonna ask you for the lien waiver. So we're gonna make sure that we gave you these. You have these, you always enforce these. So at the end of every project with any contractor, they need to have a lien waiver. And then what is we did this week, last Wednesday, we had Gary Davidson from Castle Law, #1 attorney firm in Illinois. All he talked about was dealing with contractors and lien, mechanic liens. So oftentimes, guess what? I'm gonna just give you the summary, but we're gonna send you the replay right now on the chat. Hold a second, Field. So this is what it comes down. Many contractors, you know, let's say if there's a dispute for whatever reason, right? They put a lien on your property. So people or investors just freak out, right? And that's a way for contractors even to blackmail or manipulate investors. Don't let that happen to you, because guess what? A lien is only good for up to 2 years. Then guess what? The contractor needs to file for foreclosure to make that effective. Otherwise, it's going to go away. But most important, in the webinar that we did, there's Article 34, where if they happen, for whatever reason, put a lien on your property, you're going to serve them a letter that Gary's going to give you, or he's going to help you with it. And they have 30 days to file for foreclosure on your property. And if they don't, guess what? The lien gets dismissed within 30 days. Okay, so please Do not let contractors threaten you, blackmail you, or manipulate you with, oh, I'm gonna put a mechanics lien on your property. I'm gonna put a mechanics lien tomorrow. Don't let them manipulate. So Phil, please post the link on the chat for their webinar, the replay that we had with Gary Davidson. This webinar is a must that you need to watch. So on the chat, please look out for this link. It's just a replay for that webinar, super important. So friends, now if you still don't have access to Chicago Deal Vault, I want to make sure that you sign up for it. If you don't have access, so we posted the replay. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you free access to Deal Vault for the next 30 days. So what's Deal Vault? Deal Vault allowed us, it's a system that focuses primarily on off-market property. So everything that is not for sale, okay? So we developed this about 2.5 years ago, and that has allowed us to take our real estate investment efforts to the next level. So we've done 29 rentals in the last 2.5 years. So DealVault has off-market deals like probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, vacant properties, bank-owned properties. We have cash buyers, we have lenders, we have also preferred partners. That's what I was telling you. All the contractors, everyone that we use, lenders, inspectors, attorneys, plumbers, you name it, windows, every single one is right here. So we're gonna make this available to you for free for the next 30 days. Phil, can you please post the form, the instructions to get the 30-day trial, and the promo code is Rehab, okay? So they can get 30 days free. Not only that, we're gonna train you unlimited one-on-one training via Zoom, okay? So Phil, thank you for posting the instructions. All you need to do is click on the link, fill this out, put the promo code Rehab, select the special Chicago Deal Vault, and you have unlimited one-on-one training, okay, with our professional trainers. So please, if you still don't have access to Deal Vault, make sure that you get it. And then after that, it's going to be 140, correct, friend? It's going to be 140 a month. Should you decide to stay on board, we're going to give you the promotional rate of 140. At the website is 190. We're going to lock you in at the 140. So please make sure that you get it today for free for the next 30 days. And on top of that, we're going to give you, if you sign up today, a free ticket to the 3 upcoming day seminar organized by Chicago REIA. It's going to be October 23rd through the 25th. So we're going to give you a free ticket, actually 2 free tickets to the upcoming 3-day event, October 23rd through the 25th by Andrew Holmes. So you're going to get 2 free tickets for that. Okay, so thank you, friend, for the testimonial. So please make sure that you sign up, that you have access to Deal Vault, and then utilize the Link Waiver I gave you. Watch the replay from Gary Davidson, and then we're going to stay on the line for the next few minutes to answer any questions. There's another question from Nicole. Do you get a Link Waiver before you pay contractor? So you pay them, and then right away, simultaneously, you get them to sign the Link Waiver, or pay after you get or receive the Link Waiver. I paid a contractor first and never received the Link Waivers. The subcontractors sue me and I ended up paying. Whoa. So you've got to have in your Link Waiver contractors and subcontractors. Super, super important. Great point, Nicole. So that happens simultaneously. So we pay them, and right away they need to sign the Link Waiver. And the Link Waiver has to have also any subcontractors that the GC used. Super important, okay? Thank you, Nicole, for sharing that. Another question. Does the company help moving private loans to an LLC? Okay, so if you want to move loans, like the name on the loan, you need to do a quitclaim deed. So that could be done at the village quitclaim deed. They have the format, or we can send you, Clarence. If you don't have that, we can send you like a quitclaim deed form, and that needs to be notarized and signed at the village, okay? To do a quitclaim deed, to put the property from your name onto an LLC or vice versa, okay, Clarence? So we can help you with the form. Nick, this is the best webinar you have ever given. Oh, Thank you very much, Nick. So I just wanted to share something different because guess what? The biggest pain for investors is working with contractors. So I want to make sure that they never ever take advantage of you. I want to make sure that you pay fair prices. And talking about payment, you always need to pay contractors on time. Super critical, friends. If they do good work for you, please pay them on a weekly basis, not bi-weekly, not monthly, because guess what? They go day by day, okay? So always pay them on time. Every Friday, pay them, okay? Super important, because if you don't pay them, if you take them for a ride, guess what? They're not gonna do any work for you, and that's a big problem because contractors, even the worst contractors, are in high demand right now. People are doing a lot of projects in the summer because they have nothing else to do with the COVID. So they think, oh, I need this, I need that, I need that. So contractors are extremely busy right now. So again, if you are working with somebody that you trust, that they do good quality work on time, please take care of them. Buy them lunch, bring them drinks, pay them on time. Be nice, empathize with them, okay? Because we need them, and vice versa, okay? But we need them right now more than they probably need us, okay? So please be very nice to them, pay them on time. So thank you everyone for joining. I'm gonna remain on the line for the next few minutes if you have any further questions. Thank you for joining. We had a great crowd, over 30 people on a Sunday afternoon. I'm impressed, I'm very proud of you. Thank you. We're going to send you the replay tomorrow. Please sign up if you still don't have DealVault. Everyone, thank you. Phil, if you can please remain on the... Oh, Thumbtack. Thank you, Rob. Thumbtack is the website. I mean, it's the app. Download that on your phone, and that's where you can post a project. Let's say I need a service panel on, let's say, Caesar. So you're going to get Caesar contractors bidding free. So Thumbtack, thank you very much, Rob. I just went blank with that website. Thumbtack. Good job, Rob. So everyone, please download Thumbtack on your cell phone. That's where you can get new contractors. You post a job and they come to you. So instead of you going out to them, they come to you. And obviously, please follow the tips that I showed you earlier. You need to vet them. Make sure you check their previous quality. Make sure that they over communicate, that they're team players. Okay, super important. And remember the scope of work pricing that I gave you. That chart is gold, okay? Take a picture, always carry that with your phone. You need to know the square footage and whether you need to update the bathroom and kitchen, and boom, you know this, the rehab amount. Remember to add the cushion, 5 to 10,000, and you're gonna be on your way to become a pro and think like a pro and act like a pro. So thank you everyone for joining today. Please sign up if you still don't have access to DealVault, okay? Access to all our resources. And then we're gonna give you the 2 free tickets to the upcoming 3-day event by Andrew Holmes. So thank you everyone for joining. Have a wonderful evening.